There are kite contests in this country and in many other South American countries where it's a competitive game that many people play. Now, the kite string is not just the string you buy at the store. It's a special string with glue and glass, and it's razor sharp. So what often happens is they forget to pick up the kite string, or the kite floats somewhere and the string trails behind the kite. And 10 people a year here in Brazil die from hitting kite string. Fantastic. Thank you very much. There. Entre Rios de Minas. Good morning from the Estrada Real. Today is going to be very exciting. Right now, this part of the Estrada Real really has become a mining road. There are trucks loaded with ore and supplies going up and down this road. And what's important for you to know that in the 16th and 17th century, this was the mother lode of Brazil and of the known world. Right now, I'm headed to a couple of small little towns that play a significant role in the history of the formation of Brazil, and I can't wait to tell you more about it. It's fascinating. I might add that the Estrada Real really isn't one road. It's many roads through this area. Portugal was taxing gold at 20%. The miners, the landowners, felt like that was unreasonable, so instead of going on the major highway down to Paraty to offload their gold for export to Portugal, they often tried to skirt law enforcement officer, the taxman. And so they created these dozens of little roads, and villages started popping up as a result. So there's all these little outlaw towns that were started by gold miners, hustlers who wanted to get around paying tax. So this is a little history for you as we begin today. I just stumbled upon this little town called Michael Bernier. This is a town most likely started by slaves. And right now, they're having a local celebration.
Fantastic. San Antonio de Lete.
Have you ever seen a grade so impossibly steep? Well, here it is in Ouro Preto, Brazil. I'd stop for coffee, but I might fall off the cliff. That's the only time you'll ever see me stop, actually pass up on a coffee, because I can't stop. How do you park on a 17% incline? Wow, speaking of stopping, this is a great place to stop and start the tour of this amazing town in the heart of Brazil, and to talk to you about the significance of it. See that statue behind me? That is the national hero of Brazil, Tiradentes. And the significance of this monument is that this is where the Republic, the idea of the Republic of Brazil began, in Ouro Preto and in some of the mining towns on the Estrada Real. The timing of my visit couldn't be any better. The Republic was created in 1822. It is now 2022. It is the bicentennial year. Also, the heart of the first leader of Brazil was returned to Brazil. Dom Pedro, his heart was kept in Portugal and just returned for the bicentennial to his homeland here. This is so steep, shaking my camera loose from its mount. Let's check out this one little church here. That's significant. The architect of these churches here, whether you can see it or not, is Aleijadinho. He's a very, very, very famous architect. His father was Portuguese, his mother was a slave. He never fully enjoyed all of the privileges of being a high society citizen. But what's really, really amazing is that a lot of the churches in this area were built by him. And not only did he build to the plans for these churches and help build them, he actually was a sculptor as well. But would you take a look at this street? Can you get any idea how steep this is? What a view of the city, though. My goodness. Good brakes, good tires are an absolute must in this part of the world. And we're going to go down this street here. And then we're going to take a hard right. But I got to swing out here to make this turn.
I got my little safety helmet on here because we're gonna take a deep dive into the history and into one of the more famous gold mines here in Ouro Preto with my guide.
Humberto.
So here is a chisel that was used in the mine, and here is the hammer. And they would strike the chisel when they found a vein of gold to dig it out. A lot of slaves went deaf because there were hundreds of people pounding like this all day long. So these are some of the typical tools that were used to extract the gold. So do you see these walls here? They are original and they are made from castor beans, whale oil, and grass. And it still stands today. Right here are the chains that the slaves were bound to at night. 200 at a time were chained together to keep them from escaping.
Anos.
300 years.
Yes. 103. 33?
Yeah.
133?
Yeah. 300, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the significance of this mine was it was one of the most profitable mines in the world at the time, in the known world at the time. And the mine, just even small parts of it, produced over 25 tons of gold. We're going to check that out in a minute here, but let's go into the mine here. Okay, and take a look at the Chico Rei mine. Wow. Okay, see this passageway here? That passageway produced 25 tons of gold officially, and unofficially another 25. So 50 tons of gold, but only 25 tons was reported in this mine shaft. The Chico Rei mine is over 20 kilometers square long, and only a small part of it is open to the public. There are natural pools deep inside the caverns that actually produce oxygen. But right now, what you see is one of the passageways to the 5 different levels that are on this, in this mine. So the significance of this is that it was dug by hand by African slaves. And the thousands that worked here only had a life expectancy of about 10 to 15 years after they began working in the mines. Why? Because the mines were lit up by oil burning lamps. They burned whale oil. The whale oil combined with the dust that was being made from the mining produced toxic fumes and a lot of carbon dioxide. So it led to a lot of health problems. Thousands and thousands of people worked in this mine and thousands died. We'll never know the true number because most were slaves. Now, one particular slave, his nickname is Chico Rei, and I think he was from Congo, and he was actually a tribal leader. So he was a king, and the Portuguese captured him, put him in prison, and then made him a slave, and then forcibly transported him here to work the mines. Well, after some years, he was able to collect enough gold to buy his son's freedom and his freedom. Soon after, he was actually able to buy this mine. So he used his money, the profits, to purchase the freedom of 1,000 slaves. The working conditions were awful, and at night they were often chained together by those chains, and they had to lay down on the floor and sleep. So this is the significance of the Chico Rei mine. The leader, Chico Rei, became a prominent citizen and became very, very wealthy. And actually the Portuguese at different times tried to capture him and kill him because he became so powerful. So this is just part of the Chico Rei mine. If you desire to go deeper and further, you can pay a little more and do that, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to get all dirty before I start the day. I'll leave that to you. You come here, come to Oro Preto, talk to Alberto, and he will take you through all of these passageways. So this is the house of the famous architect Aleijadinho. So let's take a few minutes and check it out, see where he lived and how he lived, and a little bit more about this man who's so fascinating, whose mother was a slave and whose father was a Portuguese architect.
Casarão tem quase 300 anos, foi a primeira casa do pai do Aleijadinho em Ouro Preto, Manuel Francisco Lisboa, o nome dele. Casarão tá...
What do you think if I try to stop here for coffee? How do you even do this, right? I think I've got to kind of turn around here a little bit. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I got to stop for coffee on one of the world's steepest streets. Get a little bit better situated here. What's that? No, I don't want to. I want to get coffee here.
Oh, coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obrigado. Hopefully it won't roll downhill. Yeah? Texas. I changed my mind. I did stop for coffee.
Yeah. Hola. Okay, this is a pretty cool shop. So I touched to start. Cafe Quentes. Let's see. Quentes. Finalize. Yeah. I got a cappuccino with an extra shot of espresso. Cappuccino? Yeah, cappuccino. Mano the Greek. I am completely blown away by the history of Brazil and particularly Minas Gerais. When I went to the Chico Rei mine, I was moved. All throughout history, prisoners of war, countries that have been subjugated, have been put into forced labor of some way, shape, form or another. And the Chico Rei mine was no exception. It was a place that was a death sentence for thousands and thousands of people. However, the bright and shining light was Chico Rei. He was able to save up enough money by sneaking out flakes of gold in his hair and on his person to buy his own freedom and the freedom of his son. From there, he began collecting enough money to buy the mine and own it personally. And then he used the profits to free another 1,000 slaves. He bought the freedom of 1,000 slaves. So he was a great man, a bright and shining star in history. In my fight against human trafficking, maybe someday I can become successful enough to free 1,000 people. Who knows? But right now, it's time for coffee. Do you wonder what I'm doing? I am installing a kite string catcher. You might wonder, like, what's the big deal about kites? Well, it's not what you think. There are kite contests in this country and in many other South American countries where it's a competitive game that many people play, and the winner gets the opponent's kite. Now, the kite string is not just the string you buy at the store. It's a special string with glue and glass, and it's razor sharp. So what often happens is they forget to pick up the kite string, or the kite floats somewhere and the string trails behind the kite. And 10 people a year here in Brazil die from hitting kite string. So my friend Israel and Esdras bought me a kite string catcher because I forgot to get one when I came to the country. So I appreciate Esdras. Thank you.
Welcome.
For the kite string catcher.
Okay.
Maybe on top here. Okay.
Now you can move it.
Ta-da!
I think this.
And there she is. Thank you, Esdras.
Welcome.
All right, let's take a look at this beautiful little town and all of the little warrens and alleyways on these cobblestone streets. There are beautiful bridges that cross the canal that runs right through the center of the city. Right now it's dry season, so it's not full, but nonetheless it's just gorgeous. More churches. Wow. Look at that. This town is just filled with statues, churches, history. It's a big university town. So kids come from all over the state and nation. Get an education.